Trewyn is located in the 10th poorest zip code in the country. Therefore, we struggle to find some of the things that are taken for granted and are blessings in other parts of the city. The Peoria Symphony Orchestra and their partnership with Trewyn has been nothing but seismic in its changes at Trewyn. We went from a school that really didn't have much in the way of music, didn't have an understanding of what the symphony for sure would involve for us, and it's opened a whole new world to our kids. I think for folks that attend the symphony with regularity, they might take for granted the opportunity to sit in a huge, beautiful auditorium to listen to these kinds of instruments and in quantity. But for our kids, the first time we walked into the Civic Center for a symphony performance, they were all wide-eyed, big smiles, and really didn't know what was coming. But when they were in the theater and they looked at all the instruments that were on the stage, one of the little girls next to me really quietly said, "Look how many violins they have." And she was a budding violinist and still is playing, but that was the first time she'd seen so many in one place. And she sat up in her chair and she did not take her eyes off that section. And that day I knew we were really onto something, and it's only been upward since then. They love Maestro Stoluto. The first time they met him, I believe it was when we were walking into the Channel 47 studio, and they watched this gentleman watch them outside the window, from the inside of the building, and then he walked around to greet them. And they really didn't know who he was at that time. Later, after they had this wonderful musical discoveries concert and they got to know him, we were writing thank you notes. And I had so many people ask me how to spell maestro. And I said, "Well, what are you writing?" And one of the little girls said, he really appreciates kids. He knows that we're cool. He knows we're cool. And and he says, yeah, he takes the time to show us how to use this instrument. I mean, really, her mother was listening to this and was very teary, because in our world here at Trewyn, we don't have a lot of male teachers. We don't have a lot of male role models, and we certainly don't seem to have a lot of gentlemen who are involved with symphonies and musical endeavors that are taking the time to say, well, here's how you would hold this flute, or this is what a violin sounds like, or, oh, I can bring someone over to explain this to you. And that was what he was doing at this musical discoveries. Every one of those children either drew a picture for Maestro Stoluto or they wrote something for him. And it has continued on. When he's on the stage, all eyes are on him when he walks on that stage. He is someone that is special to them. When we were most recently at Matinee at the Movies, he came and was in a picture with us. That was big time. These kids trust the symphony. That's a big word here too, and we know that word. And they trust Maestro Stoluto and all the people that are there. It's been a remarkable partnership. It's beyond anything I ever anticipated. I sometimes say it's a God thing, because it feels like that. It feels like it was just ordained to take place. And our kids have been blessed by this relationship.